Peter came up with the idea of this podcast, and when I read about the idea, I said, okay, well, let me find out what the slate of movies are that are coming up, because this is sad for me to say. I loved the Marvel movies, but I was kind of done after Avengers Endgame, just because nothing really they had played out all the stories at this point, and I'm not really that interested anymore. And I didn't want to be a rat that's continually sucking on some kind of opiate of the masses, which is not religion, by the way. And so when Peter came up with this idea for this podcast, I started looking at what they've got. And so what you're seeing right here is a lot of different ones. There's Black Widow. The question I have about Black Widow is why? She's dead. There's no stakes anymore, but still, that's maybe a little bit of propaganda piece. You got to have that strong, empowered female character.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange. And now I had a connection with that director, Scott Derrickson, originally. He was the original director of Doctor Strange. And I was pretty disappointed when Scott Derrickson was no longer a part of it. But now it's Sam Raimi. So Raimi is a mixed bag. Don't know what to think of that. After that, we've got Thor, which is again directed by Taika. I have a feeling Taika's. I'm not bullish on that one. Thor: Love and Thunder.
They've kind of taken Thor in a way different direction than what they started off with him.
Well, that's the thing. Taika was directing it, and I've listened to his. Taika Waititi was the director of the last Thor, which was
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok, yes, and he was writing it and directing it with the idea that he wasn't going to write and direct another one. You even hear him do the interviews, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not interested in doing another one." I was in agreement with Taika when he was saying that Thor's done. And now they're going to try and reboot in a different character. Again, I feel like I'm a rat sucking at the opiate of the masses at this point, and I'm not very bullish on that one. So whatever. In any case, going back to it, we've got Eternals. This one was interesting. I didn't realize that the director was someone by the name of Chloe Zhao. I'm glad you had me research this, Peter, because she's someone who was born in China and now is very critical of the Chinese regime. Which is, and her last movies had been actually censored by the Chinese regime. They'd been critically acclaimed.
Good for her.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, well, someone who's got some guts here. Then we got Black Panther, which doesn't have Black Panther, so I'm not sure what they're going to do. Tragically, the actor who plays Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, is dead. Spider-Man, this one is interesting. They're bringing back Alfred Molina, Doc Ock. Which is super.
I have hopes for that one.
Yeah. So do I. Shang-Chi. All I read about that one is mostly Asian cast, and I stopped reading. I don't understand why. Why is it important that? Why is race the deciding factor of casting now? Like that is. I don't understand. It used to be acting, and then it was how much money can you make. I guess maybe it was always how much money you can make, and now everything has to be some kind of weird critical race theory sort of thing. And I have no stomach for that. I'm not interested in that movie at all, just because that's their lead off thing is it's a mostly Asian cast. Okay, I'm no longer interested. Nothing. I don't have nothing against Asian actors. It's just why. But you have to have something different for me to want to watch your movie. If that's what you lead off with, then we got issues. I have no problem watching movies made in Asian countries that already have de facto mostly Asian casts, but that's not what they lead off with to try to get me to watch the movie. So in any case, Guardians of the Galaxy, James Gunn is back. After being fired. He was canceled.
Canceled and uncanceled.
Canceled, and they brought him back very quietly. Hopefully no one noticed, is I think what they were thinking of. Okay. And then two more. The one that I am actually kind of interested in the most of all of these is Ant-Man and the Wasp. It's got a writer of Rick and Morty, which Rick and Morty is a TV show that is very raunchy, very oftentimes bad. Like, I don't think it's a very good show a lot of times. It's such a mixed bag. But sometimes it's amazing. My wife's a big fan, and she's kind of shown me some of the best episodes, and I see the reason why people are always talking about that show. So the actor that plays one of the writers of Rick and Morty is a writer in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and that really interests me. I'm like, okay, let's see where he goes with that. That's very interesting. And also, the villain's one of the best all-time Marvel villains, one of Stan Lee's greatest, Kang the Conqueror. But in any case, the last one is the one that I think we're going to talk about a lot in this. I apologize, we went through this whole list, Peter. Captain Marvel. And that one is actually only interesting because of how hard they've tried to make it boring.